Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you are tuning in. My name is Rachel Goldsworthy, and I'm on a journey each and every week to improve my big live, love life by 2 millimeters. And I want to do that with you. How are you? How is everybody? I got sent a couple of messages that I was running a couple of minutes late. Yes, I was, because my technical difficulties with me, maybe. No. And also my microphone wasn't working. So there you go. Today, we're going to talk about all things calendar. I've been asked so that we can make sure that everybody knows what we're doing with our calendars for the year. Has anyone started a New Year's resolution and hasn't followed through with it? You started it with all gusto and you weren't able to quite get there in the end. Hey Les, how are you? Nice to have you on the line. Thank you for everybody joining me today. Hey Jax, how are you? Nice to have you on the line. Today we are talking lots of different things, but first, what did I do on the weekend? What did you do on the weekend? We're getting close to the end of the school holidays, aren't we? And I'm not too sure about you, but I went to the bank today and there was nobody in the line. At Rouse Hill, there was no one in the line. That never happens. I never get to the front line first, so I was very excited to be able to speak to somebody in and out of the bank within a couple of minutes. They answered all my questions and was able to make the deposit and go from there. But what's everybody else up to? Have you been to the beach with the kids? Have you been down to Windsor Beach? Have you been to the boathouse for fish and chips? Have you been to cricket for a special engagement or a special event? What have you all been up to? Pop in the comments below. I went to Dionne Warwick on the weekend with Mum and Dad. Wow, what a concert. She's an absolute, master at this. Yeah, I know. Les is saying, your lucky day, you should have bought a scratchy. I know, with the bank, I should have bought a scratchy. Dionne Warwick, though, beautiful, beautiful singer, and she came out on stage. I think she's 84 years old. It was at the Star Event Centre in town, and it was fabulous. We had a great time, and we met some new people as well. We sat next to these lovely these two sisters. One was turning 80 and she had her birthday, obviously, celebrations for the weekend. They got a special suite somewhere close and her niece came along. So there was 3 or 4 of them that sat together. We had some lovely conversations about that. Hey Maggie, how are you? Hey Slayer, Big Hayley. I've got to give Hayley a big shout out. Hayley had this goal. She's not one that's going to give up the New Year's resolution. She had a goal to complete her studies, and true to her promise, we had a few starts last year which weren't quite as successful as we thought they were going to be, but she really focused this weekend and got the work done. So high five to you, Hayley. Well done. Good work in the office there. And Maggie, big shout out to you. How are you? What have you been up to? What's going on in your world? What did the wolf moon happen for you, Maggie? Like, tell me, you were talking about, Maggie gave us some great insight in regards to the wolf moon bringing the emotions and more emotional release and emotions to the surface for people. So did you experience anything, or did the people on the line here experience anything with a wolf moon, or have any emotions that came forward, or maybe with the new year there was emotions that came forward, or those sorts of things? So pop in the comments below. That would be great. Hayley's doing the dance. Yes, the dance, I know, because she needs to do the dance. She was wonderful at her studies and she does require a gold star for that. So well done. Not even a great start. It was just a well done. But yeah, Dionne Warwick, we sat next to this lovely couple, like the two sisters, and then her niece. We didn't even know them. And that's what it's all about when you go to these sort of events. You meet all these new people and just bump into people randomly, and it's so awesome. And we also met, it was just the most random thing. We met this woman with, I think she was an embalmer or something like that. She had this yellow hair, and she just came out of nowhere at the top of the escalators, I think it was, and bumped into literally Mum, myself and my dad. And we had some sad news in the family, and we've got to attend a funeral at the end of the month. Very, very, very sad. And I'm sure you've all been there as well with losing someone that you love so much. And it's not a pleasant time for the family or the people that are involved. But equally, this lady, she said she was an embalmer. Whether she was or what it was that she did, I'm sorry if I got the information wrong. But it was comforting to know the process and what happens to people when they pass away, and how they're looked after and how they're cared for. And sometimes, you know, caring for people, and whether it's the 80th birthday or whether it's the embalmer that you meet on the escalator. I mean, that lady herself, she asked for a hug after the conversation, and I just went, oh, okay, sure. I gave her a hug, and it's kind of nice to do those things for people, because you never know, they may need the hug more than you do. And it's good to be able to give that hug to somebody else, because she did say that she had a son at home, and maybe there was things going on for her that she wasn't able to share at the time, but I hope everything is okay with her and it all works out for her. Sometimes, as I say, you know, like that 80th birthday or the embalmer, you never meet them again, but it's just really nice interactions, because you get to meet lots of different people, see lots of different outfits that you may or may not wear, and you know, see how people get up and express themselves. And there was people singing, there was people dancing. It was wonderful. It was very joyous. And I think this year for me, it's all about lifting that vibration and lifting the energy, and whether it's bringing those emotions to the surface, as Maggie was saying last week, or whether it's just being more joyful and playful, because I think sometimes in life we forget to be that playful person. We've just got a job to do. We've got to go to work. We've got to look after the family. We've got to provide for the family. We've got to do whatever it may be that you're doing. And I think sometimes it's good to be reminded of that. So going to that event on Saturday, it was absolutely fantastic, and really, really loved it. And yeah, Dionne Warwick, I put a little post up. I might pop the video in the comments below if you didn't get to see it, but lots and lots of fun. So, and the universe will never give you peace in something that you weren't meant to settle. So that's the same for the people that you meet. So, you know, look towards different things in your life, as I do. And I was watching, I mean, it was probably about, I want to say 3 or 4 months ago, a lot of people have people in their lives that have unfortunately faced the big C word. And there's this series on TV called the C word, I think it is anyway. And it's a TV series about a woman who was diagnosed with cancer, and it's how she faces the cancer with her family. And she didn't even tell her family to start with. So can you imagine a life where you are holding on to something, the information inside that you just wanted to share, but you really didn't know how to start that conversation? And there was this woman that had the cancer diagnosis. She eventually got to share that information with her husband. And for those of you who are probably botching this whole story, but basically, without telling too much of it, there was an experimental drug that she was going to trial. And the experimental drug gave her the opportunity to be able to survive the cancer and move through it. So, you know, I'm not too sure whether you've had people in your life that have faced cancer. I certainly have, and it's a very scary place to be, because probably more so for the person going through it, but they almost have to be the strong one for everybody else, because we almost all fall apart around people with that, because we don't want to lose that person that we love so much. And anyway, this lady, she was doing her, wanted to do this chemo or this trial therapy, and she was going into that day. So it was, say, a Monday, starting on a Monday, similar to your New Year's resolutions, but it was something she wasn't expecting to face as a resolution whatsoever. The experimental drug, she'd been pulled into this study, and whether it was 100 people or 1,000 people, there was a select group of people, and she was very lucky to get into this experimental group. But then with the experimental group, what happened was her husband lost his job through this whole stress of the process. And then with the loss of the job, he also lost the insurance that covered her to be able to do this treatment, this experimental treatment that was going to potentially save her life and potentially allow her to spend more time with her family. What a scary thing. You know, you're facing a cancer diagnosis, then you're facing the opportunity of getting into a trial which may save you, you know, and the highs of that. And then your husband, by no fault of his own, it was just circumstances that happened and he was giving his best as he could, but he couldn't get the insurance because he lost his job. And then the lady wasn't able to do the insurance. So this is the highs and the lows that you experience sometimes in life, isn't it? You know, like you can't always have a perfect day. Sometimes you have a great morning, you set yourself up so well for the morning, and then the afternoon might turn to absolute clay, and you don't know why or what or where, but sometimes it might just be the vibration that you're giving off, or it might be the energy, or it might be the food that we're eating, or it might be anything. It might be somebody that said something to you and it's, you know, you're reacting to that, or I'm not too sure what it is for you, but pop in the comments below that what makes you have a good day and what makes you have a not so good day. I'd be really interested to hear. But the comments that she said when she lined up, when there no job, no money coming in the household, there was no insurance to cover this trial, and there was another gentleman that she was doing this trial with, and she said to this other gentleman that was doing the trial, it's just a day. But what if the day was the day that was going to tip the scales in her favour? And she said, why can't anything go the way it's supposed to? Because she was facing this, you know, like, I'm not too sure why this is all happening to me. Then the gentleman that was sitting by her side that had the same treatment booked, he said, or maybe it did. It just didn't go the way you wanted it to. So she said, why can't anything go the way it's supposed to go? And he said, or maybe it did. It just didn't go the way you wanted it to. You may be brave, but you can't control the universe, is what he said. You're the water, not the rock. So essentially, our days go in waves and we are the water. And sometimes we have those obstacles that come up in front of us and we're unsure how to navigate around them. But remember that water is fluid and we can navigate around rocks. We just have to learn which way is the best way, which is going to give you the best flow, which is going to keep you in that energy that you're going. The other thing that I like to think about, hey Greg, how are you? Nice to have you on the line with us all. Listen to your navigation system. So whilst we are 85% water and we can go the ebbs and the flows, the niggles in your stomach, I don't know about you, but I get them. If there's a situation and it shows up in your body somewhere and you're thinking, you're saying, oh, this doesn't feel quite right, or I'm not too sure about this situation, or this is just a little bit too contrived for my liking, or it was all just played in a particular way and I can see it plain as day right there. But sometimes you just go with it because, you know, I have the let them theory. But listen to those warning beacons, because those warning beacons in your body is what's going to support you. Those warning beacons, whether it's in your throat, whether it's in your heart, whether it's in your stomach, it might be somewhere else in your body that it happens, you know. So just listen careful and watch for those directional signs, because they will lead you in the right direction. And I also think just be true to yourself, because if you're true to yourself, it doesn't matter what other people are doing around you. It doesn't matter what they're doing, what games they're playing, what stories they're telling, what places they want to be, you know, whether they want to drive the fanciest car or the fanciest house, and they may not even be able to afford that, but they want to put on this perception that they can. Let them. because they too will come to that point where they may not be able to sustain that lifestyle that they're trying to be for, whether it's Facebook or whether it's for Instagram or whether it's for anything. You know, you don't need to show up as anything other than yourself, because you'll be loved just the way you are. And Greg's saying, for me, it's gut feel. Yeah, absolutely. And Les is saying, I get warning feelings about people. Yes, Nostradamus. That's you, Les. You know exactly what people are about and what people aren't about. And their true colours do show through. And I think sometimes we want to see something else in people, and sometimes it's not necessarily there, but that's okay. Still be the person and still show up and still give the love and still, you know, with open arms. Like as that lady last night, she said, can I have a hug? Now, I could have said, oh, hey, I don't do hugs in public. But I didn't, because I thought maybe she needs a hug more than I do. So open arms, gave her a hug, and we had a really nice conversation with Mum and Dad, and that was it. It was great. It was a really good interaction. So we hope that we all meet one another in each other's lives for different reasons, for whatever that may be, but to support one another, to be there for one another, because I think in Australia, I've spoken about it before, but the tall poppy syndrome is alive and well. If you're doing well, or if you look like you're doing well, or you look like you're doing better than the next person, sometimes people want to chop you off at the feet. I say, let them do all of that if that's what they want to do. But there's Newton's third law of physics, and that is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So Newton's cradle, do you know those the cradles that have the 5 balls that hang down, and then they've got the little stainless steel things on the side? Well, if you grab one of the stainless steel balls at the end and push it from one side, you'd think, oh, this is not going to move anything on this cradle. There's 5 balls in a row, and you grab one and let that off the string go. It actually hits and strikes out. So the momentum hits through those other balls and to the other side. So one ball will swing on either side. And that's the equal and opposite reaction. If you grab 2 and hit them down through, the momentum will carry through and it will hit 2 out the other side. And then you think, oh, this can't be right. Then you grab 3 of those balls and then pull them to the side and then push them through. 3 will come to the other side. And the same thing goes to 4, and then you've got the 1 left. So really fascinating thing to do. But I believe that very much in life. You know, what you put out there is what you get back. So be careful what you wish for, and be careful who you are as a person and what you're doing, because if you look after people, that's going to come back to you tenfold. So get ready for a beautiful storm, a beautiful storm of love and gratefulness and joyous and playfulness, and you'll get plenty of those warning feelings about people, or you'll get that gut feeling like Greg gets every now and then, and you listen to that. Listen to the navigation system, because it's going to be loud and clear, and I can assure you, you will hear it. And it's called karma, as Les said. Yes, karma is a good word, and I like that word. Greg's saying, Tony Jones, Channel 9, disrespecting Djokovic, backlash from the public. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting too, because, you know, sometimes it's only the small minority that make a big deal of something or carry on as though, you know, they're untouchable. And yet the public end up speaking. The people around you end up speaking. The people that are in your life that matter end up speaking. And as Greg said, Tony Jones, Channel 9, disrespecting Djokovic, you know, the backlash has come from the public. The public do speak. And, you know, you've just got to listen to that. And so anybody that's got fake or real intent, anybody that has sent out bad karmic reactions, like Maggie was saying last week, the energy of the full moon, the energy of different things, it's really, really interesting how it translates. And Les is saying it only takes one to change many. Absolutely. And I think that that should be the support of people. One person. You know, I love jumping on here because I get to chat with so many people and I get so many comments afterwards, and I love hearing all your stories and all the great things that you're achieving in your lives. And it just tops up my cup each week. And I really look forward to speaking to each and every one of you. And, you know, as Les says, it only takes one to change many. So each of you are the one. Each of you are the one. If you haven't been told today, you are the one, and you are the one that's going to change many, because it's those tiny ripples in the ocean that create that wave. So keep being that ripple, keep being that one, keep being that person that shows up and does what they need to do to actually help others. And sometimes the universe saves us a whole lot of time and saves us a whole lot of energy on things that never were. And sometimes the universe has a funny way of showing you, but sometimes you don't know it yourself at the time, you know. So as it says, the universe never gives you peace in something that you weren't meant to settle in, or the people that you weren't meant to meet. So don't ever worry. Let them go, do, you know, keep asking people to go to dinner, go to coffee, go to brunch, go to whatever it may be. Support your friends, support your family. I love that everybody connects on that level, and yeah, it's just brilliant. Now, talking about, I got a bit off topic there, I know, sorry about that, but there was a couple of things I just loved. Love what I was doing yesterday. I played drums. Big shout out to Jim. Thank you very much for my cue cards here. Greg Clinton saying The Power of One, Bryce Janelle Courtney. I love that book. That's a really good book. What was your favourite part of that book, Greg? Obviously the line in the book, but the heading of the book. But hey, Murray, how are you? How's the fam bam going? Good to have you on the line. Okay, so who has started a New Year's resolution and literally the next day it's out the door? I know I've done that in the past, and it's been really challenging, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This year I thought I better go public with this one because it meant a lot to me. My health is really important to me. As those of you know, that I suffered from seizures, and it was something that I wanted to really overcome. And I think your health, you don't realise how important your health is until you don't have it. So for me, the New Year's resolution was so important to achieve. Murray's saying, all good, Rachel, a bit wet up north there, Wingham flooded. Oh, that's no good. We were lucky we escaped the floods down here. We didn't have much weather or not enough rain as you guys did up there, but I'm glad you're all good. Good to hear. Definitely say hello to everyone for me. But yeah, health is so important. You don't realise until you don't have it. And for me this year, it was all about, I mean, everybody knows about my calendar. This is the smaller version of it, so I've brought it out for everybody today so that you can see. Anybody that wants a copy of this, this is the A3 version. This in the background is my A1 version. So it's pretty big, but, you know, you certainly get a lot of stuff in it, and that's the main thing. So as I said, I've tried different things in the past, and yes, I have failed. I've tried diets, I've tried walking, I've tried, I don't know, starting something new in whether it's a hobby or whether it's just doing something like that. And it never really, yeah, sure, you achieve a lot of things, and you look back on the year, like Mum and Dad were looking at their goals the other day, and they sat down and they just went, gee, you know, like if you've got that list and you see what you're doing, sometimes you actually have achieved more than you think that you have achieved. So really important to have that list, because sometimes we lose sight of what we put down on that list. And with that being said, at the middle of last year, usually I do it sort of every quarter or every 6 months, look at things. And even if you have a sheet of paper that has Monday to Sunday, something as simple, if you've got a blank piece of paper, just bring out a blank piece of paper. This is going to probably take about 10 minutes to do, but it will set you up really well for the year ahead. It has set me up really well and made me stick at something that I may not have, you know, kept to. I've been trying the 75 hard challenge, which those of you who have been watching me do know. As it stands at the moment, we're second week in, and I think I've lost 6.5 kilos. I'm down, I think 20 centimeters, and doing lots of exercises a day. I'm drinking the 4 liters of water a day. I am reading 10 pages of a book a day, and all that seems really overwhelming. But in my mind, it was overwhelming too before I started it. But as I was saying to you, the universe puts in front of you what you need at that time, or I believe that anyway. And I got a call out from my realtor friends in Texas. And lock and load, you Texans. That's what they do over there. And also, I made it public. So everything that I did with the 75 Hard Challenge, I put it online. I don't do that to brag or say, look at me, aren't I great? None of that. It's just from a place of, well, if I can do it, you can do whatever it is that you want to do as well. And I love seeing people achieve their goals and what they want to achieve. And I love hearing about what people are doing and where, you know, where they've got in their lives and where they're heading in their lives. Because the other thing that I know is being in the present moment is really important. So, you know, when you're with somebody, off the phones and just spend the time that you can. But this here is my Monday to Sunday brain dump. So basically what I do is I write down all the things on this side. So you can just have a plain piece of paper. You can put on one side just brain dump, or even have one page of brain dump. Then Monday to Sunday, whatever it might be, you can have the different days in the week that you're thinking that you may want to achieve. So just, this is not something that needs to be perfect. That's what I had to get out of my head, that it needed to be perfect, because you can make it, you know, first draft, second draft, third draft, think about it, wish about it, promise yourself about it, do things, you know, oh yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to think about that, and then shuffle the papers this way and then shuffle the papers that way. And I don't know if those of you have got a table and you've got a pile of work on the left-hand side, or maybe a pile of papers on the right-hand side. That to me looks like procrastination. I've been there as well, so don't worry, you're not the only one. That's why I thought I'd just have a brain dump. So I do a brain dump, write everything down in my head that I'm thinking I would love to achieve this week. Some things might have to go onto a goal sheet for bigger things, right? But just do the immediate things. And if you've got long-term things on this list, you can also put that in for you know, extrapolate those long-term things out of this list. But just sit down for 10 minutes, even 5 minutes, 2 minutes, however many minutes you have, and just write everything out of your head. Just get those thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Nothing's wrong. There's no wrong answer. Just all the things, if you could, what you'd like to achieve. Then once you've got the details there for that, what I do is put them in sections. So usually there's 5 sections, and so once you've done your brain dump, you've got all your ideas on paper. It sounds as though it's more complicated, but it's really not. Just follow me on this, go with me, and then we'll talk about it and ask any questions if you've got any. But on mine, I've got family, spiritual, physical, financial, and career. So they're the baselines for everything. There might be one thing that you want to achieve in this, because you've got to make this goal so achievable that you just can't fail, because all you want to do is stack the good. And when I mean stack the good, you just want to have one new habit each quarter or each month or each week, and then you just keep on stacking so many good things in your body. It's just going to make you feel unbelievably good. Yes, you are going to go through that river and you are going to come across rocks at times, but you will be able to look back at that list and go, gee, I've achieved this, gee, I've done that. Keep going, keep flowing in amongst those rocks. So, and then on the top here, I have 3 questions. So you could do this sheet up yourself as well, you know, write your spiritual, family, career, wealth, health, whatever it might be. But on the top, I have questions that you ask, and is, what do I want? So in your family section, what do you want? Do you want to take the kids to the park once a week? Or do you want to take the kids to the park twice a week? Or it might be go to dinner with the family, or have a barbecue at home with the family, or make some sort of meal together as a meal prep with the family. And why do you want it is the second question. Why would you want to spend more time with your family? Well, my answer to that would be to make memories, because I know I'm on the second half of my life, and those years now are becoming even more precious. than what the first half were. So why do I want it? Because I want to make special memories with people. And then by when? So if that goal for family was, what do I want? I want to go to the park with the kids once a week. Now, your kids could be two-legged kids. Your kids could be four-legged kids. Your kids could be your friends that are absolute kids and you just young at heart and you all go and play in the park together. It doesn't matter what that is. And your family could be your family, and it also could be your extended family, or it could also be your family that aren't your family, but you call your family. They're not blood, but they're still family to you. So the third question is by when? So if there's something that you're wanting to achieve with the family, by when? I would say, okay, I want to take the kids to the park once a week. Like, just make it so easy that you can't disappoint yourself, because it's all about stacking the good. If you don't start light, if you say, I'm going to do 7 days a week, I'm going to take the kids down to the park and I'm just going to do this and I'm going to do that, you are likely to fail. Only because I know this, I've tried this, I try and do this, and sometimes I have to start here and then work my way and stack the good. So by when? This week, I'm going to take the kids to the park. So at the beginning of the year, I promised my kids, I have 2 four-legged kids. I also have lots of water dragons and baby water dragons and 2-legged feathered birds outside that I catch up with as well. But that's another promise to the family that I make. I get to catch up with them as well. But I take the dogs down to the park, and it started as just twice a week I wanted to take the kids down to the park. And because I'm very busy with what I do with work and don't always have the time, but want to try and make the time. And instead of using the word try, I made the time. And so now I take the kids to the park each and every day. And it's only a short walk, but they have absolute delight in hearing those leads come off the hook, and out they go in the door, and they're very, very excited for it. So that's something that everyone should look forward to. And I get so much out of it. And even the people that you meet when, you are going down to the park, I'm meeting so many different families walking of a nighttime. It's so lovely to see. And so getting off the screen, I mean, if you look at your phone, you can actually look at the screen time and how many times you picked up your phone. If you go to the settings and you go to your screen time, it will tell you. And, you'll be surprised. You might have picked up your phone 50 times, 100 times, 150 times, 200 times. I've been known to pick up my phone nearly 250 times and be on there for 12 hours. I mean, obviously a lot of that is calls, but a lot of that we do with social media, a lot of that we do with other things. So that family box, that first box, whatever that is for you, you only need to do one thing. And as I say, stack the good. So the second one, spiritual. So you've got that heading again. So that was our family, and then that was the 3 questions that you asked yourself. The second one is spiritual. Now, I don't know what spiritual means for you. Spiritual may be believing in God. It may be believing in the Quran. It may be believing in the universe. It may be believing in an energy. It may be believing in UFOs. I'm not too sure. It might be believing in nothing at all. Whatever that is for you, and I'm not making fun of it, because everybody does have their own thought processes, and we respect each and every one of you. And I know with me, I believe in lots of different things, especially the energy that is around us, and especially, even feng shui, for example. That's a spiritual journey, or was a spiritual journey for me, finding out about the different things when I studied the advanced feng shui many years ago now. But it has really served my life well, and I met some beautiful people on the way. And one of my very dear friends, big shout out to you, Michelle, she is part of my world with her beautiful family. Big shout out to Brett and yourself. And it's amazing just going to a course with people with similar thought processes and similar interests, what you find. So spiritual, whatever that is for you. So what do you want? I mean, for me, one of those goals at that time was the course, doing the Feng Shui course, to go to that next level. Why did I want it? Because I just wanted a depth of knowledge of the energy fields that were around me, and how I might be able to increase the energy in some way, shape or form, and look at the environment that I was in. Because when you're selling homes, it's not just selling a home for me. It's all about the energy of the home. And I believe that every home has a story, and I love sharing that story, but equally the story of the home can be the energy of that person. So if you look at a home and what's actually in that home, it really just depends on what is happening. It really just depends on the energy of the house, the year of the house, what you have in the house, whether it's cluttered, whether it's clear, whether it's minimalistic, whether it's not, whether it's homely, whether it smells good, whether it doesn't, whether there's stuff everywhere, whether there's not. Yes, there's only a certain percentage of it that does affect your house in some way, shape or form, but still it's something that can be taken into consideration. Spiritual might be meditation. It might be talking to God. It might be talking to the universe. It might be as you go to bed, you say some sort of prayer, and whether it's a prayer to God or whether it's a prayer to the universe or whether it's a thought process that you take yourself to a higher consciousness as you're sleeping, and then when you wake up you come out and there's another spiritual experience when you put what it is going to be for the day out to the universe, and then more of that comes, because what we focus on grows. So the way I look at it is whether it's spiritual or universe or nothing or yourself, you need to look at those things and what you're doing. And by when, I mean, I put the timeline in there for my feng shui course. This is years ago. But this year I'm doing yoga and also meditation. And it's as simple as doing 2 sessions a week. I could have done 1 session, and I did start with 1 session, but the benefits of that yoga and the meditation, I mean, I'm not one to like meditation whatsoever. I can't sit still for more than a couple of minutes, but I also do cold water immersion, so ice baths, things like that, and that just centers you. I love going diving because you're underneath the water and you can see the shards of light that are above you, and it just puts you into that meditative state. And also it's very spiritual thought process as well. When you're looking up the shards of light, you can think that it might be coming from the heavens above, or it might be coming from the universe, it might be coming from source. I'm not too sure what that is for you, but certainly that was the spiritual side of things for me. Excuse me, I'm just going to get a glass of water. I talk too much, don't I? And then physical. Now, everybody knows I've been doing this 75 hard. So for me, it's been doing the 2 exercises per week. And I've just got a control setting. Has anyone done that? You can do this to your phone, and it says reactions are now enabled with iOS 17. You can turn off this video effect in your camera. How cool is that? So you can give me the thumbs up if you like too in the comments below. But I'm still learning about this new phone. It's great because I've got 2 phones, one with the old one with all the information on it, and this is the new one with all other new information and stacking the cool on it. So it's amazing. So yeah, the physical, do 2 exercises a day. So morning session, afternoon session. And then the other one is the drinking the water. I love drinking the water now. I hated drinking water before. I really thought, I can't do this. There's so much water. But when I broke it down into small little bite-sized segments, first water by 10:30, second by 12, next by 2:30, and the 4th litre by 5 o'clock. It was great. But, those physical goals, like as I say, why do I want it? Because I want to be the best version of myself for myself. And, what do I want was to be fit and healthy. And what did that mean for me? I needed to lose weight. I needed to look after myself a bit better. I was eating takeaways because I was so busy at work and didn't have to have time. No worries, Murray. Murray's got to leave. Time to ring with the wife and the kids. Good boy. That's happy wife, happy life. Good for you. Nice to have you on the line, Murray. Yeah, so the physical, it's all about just looking after yourself. So I'm not too sure what those goals are, but what do you want? Why do you want it? and by when. My timeline was I did a soft start the 1st of January, but I knew it wasn't a realistic goal because I had catch-ups with lots of friends in that first week in January. But the second week in January, starting on the 6th, that's when I thought, yeah, we're going to step it up a gear and we'll be able to go hard on this one. So 75 hard is the challenge and what it's called, and it's 75 hard for a reason because it's certainly not an easy challenge. But then once you get it out of your mind that it is easy, it's much easier once you've started it. So that's been really good. I mean, I've been tracking it each week, each day. I track the food that I have, and I put on the calendar here sort of what something that I do just to show you. That was the first day that I did. And I tick off everything. So, you know, you've got your first workout, second workout, take your progress picture, read 10 pages of non-fiction book, drink the gallon of water, follow a diet. Can be any diet, doesn't matter, whatever's good for you. No cheat meals. So I've been asked out to Chinese, I've been asked out to Thai, I've been asked out to steakhouse. And you can't. You have to sort of, well, you can, but you just got to be really careful with it. And I just sort of thought, especially in the first couple of weeks, I can't be tempted to go out to dinner, because if I go out to dinner, I know that I'll be more tempted to break it than I will be to keep it. But that's why I put it all online, because I thought if I'm public about it, I'm not going to want to let you down. And I'm getting the hang of not letting me down too. And you write out the plan for the next day. So make sure that you write out your plan for the next day. And it could just be one thing on your list. Take the puppy dogs for a walk. Whatever that is, I'm not too sure for you. But you mark down what you want to do. And then I also wrote notes, any challenges, insights, breakthroughs that I had, which was really helpful for the week ahead. So if I knew, so say for example, water. If you start late in the day, it's really hard to catch up. Only because you're trying to chug all of this water down late in the afternoon and early in the evening, and I don't want to let anyone down. So often, like even last night, I stayed up till 11:30 drinking all of this water because I just didn't get a chance to get the water intake during the day because of the appointments. But just the same, I got there in the end, and you can do it. And surprisingly enough, you can go throughout the night without having that night pee. Even though you're drinking so much water, you'd think you need it, but your body just loves the water going in there. It's really nourishing. And it makes you feel unstoppable when you're doing that. So, yeah, I'm 6.5, 7 kilos down, and I think I lost, I'm looking at my sheet now, 4 inches in the first week, and then I think it's 16 centimetres. So 9.9 centimetres in the first week, 16 centimetres in the second week. I don't know what that, I think that's 9 and a bit inches, 10 inches, something. So might be 14 inches or something all up. Anyway, I'll put up a post and let you know. But it's going really well, and I'm feeling really fit and healthy and just going from strength to strength. And I'm just stacking the good. You know, each week just adding to that whatever it is that I'm doing. So the 2 exercises I might change from, you know, one thing to another, and then just working out with what I am doing well. Oh, thanks, Les. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So the physical, whatever that is for you, what do you want? Why do you want it? And by when? Hey, Jess, how are you? Nice to have you on the line. Okay, financial. That's a big dirty word everybody doesn't want to talk about. I remember when I bought my first house, I hardly had a red cent to my name. I think I had a beanbag as my lounge. I had a milk crate as my dining room table, which acted as a office table, and the floor acted as my chairs with the beanbag. The beanbag was the luxury item. And, you know, you've all got to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. And I started from humble beginnings as well. But the financial, you've got to know, what do you want? I mean, do you want to go on a holiday? Do you want to spend more time with the kids, which means you have to drop back in time with work? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a unit? Do you want to buy a house with somebody else? What is that financial goal? And why do you want it? Because if you put that question with it, why do you want it? It's that emotional tie. If it's a financial goal, and if you want to buy a house, for example, you want to buy a house, okay, that's great. what type of house, what suburb are you buying in? Are you going to narrow it down to 1, 2 or 3 suburbs? Jess is saying Lotto would be amazing right now. What, you got to buy a ticket, Jess. That is the big thing. That is very important to get that ticket to be able to have the opportunity to win. I think it's 1 in 400,000 chance of winning the Lotto. But that's not bad. You still got an opportunity. So financial. So if you're buying a house, and why do you want it? You might want it because you've got kids. You might be a single parent. You might be buying your first home with your partner. You might be buying the home as an investment property because you already have your family home. You might be buying a home to help your folks out or to help your kids out. Jess is saying, I refuse to buy a ticket, ha ha ha, but no one can dream. But one can dream. Absolutely. Everyone can dream. There's no cost involved with dreaming. That's what I love about it. And when do you want to buy that house? Because if you don't put a timeline, so what do you want? You've got your financial. What do you want? Why do you want it? And when do you want it by? And if you say, okay, so tomorrow buying a house may be a realistic goal if you have your finance in place, if you've spoken to your broker, if you're paying cash, or, you know, your parents are helping out and everything's ready to go. You can go and have a look at houses, put a deposit down on a house, and then go and purchase that house. Whereas if you haven't got your finance ready, you do need to get finance, and you've got to speak to your parents about going guarantor on the loan or whatever the triage may be. You need to be realistic about that goal, but look at maybe middle of the year. That might be a more realistic goal. It may take 3 months. It may be, say for example, if you're working part-time and the bank needs you to be working full-time, you might go from part-time to full-time, but the bank may want 3 or 6 months history of your earnings rather than just going, okay, well, I've just started full-time, just take that as my income. The bank won't generally not do that. I mean, I'm not giving you any financial advice. This is just based on properties that I've seen people look at that want to buy them and circumstances that they've had. So when you're buying that house, you want to make sure that you have everything lined up. And if you don't know where to start, I'm always happy to help you. But mainly identify the suburb, go and have a look at as many open homes as you can, see what types of house you might want: brick, you might want clad, you might want tin roof, you might want tiled roof, you might want a unit, you might want a big yard because you've got dogs, you might want a small yard because you don't want the maintenance. I'm not too sure what that is, but you need to work out in your mind what sort of a house that you're looking for. And then why do you want it? Is it because you're moving in with your partner? Is it because you want a bigger house for the kids, a bigger backyard for the kids to play? Because you want that investment property? Because you want to look after family or the legacy of the family or whatever it may be? I'm not too sure what it is for you. And then by when? Put a realistic goal on it. So for buying a house, it might be this week if you're cashed and ready to go, or you've got your finance in place and you can put a deposit down. You'll still need the required 6-week settlement unless the settlement's adjusted one way or the other, which is fine. But that's certainly something that you can do. Hi, Bianca. Nice to have you on the line. Thanks for joining us. So that's your financial. And then career. Career is the last one that I have on the list here. What do you want with your career is the question. What do you want? Why do you want it? And by when? Okay, so your career may be changing jobs because it's a toxic environment. You might not be happy with the environment that you're working with. You might really love the people that you're working with, but you just hate the job and you can't see it going anywhere. Or you might love the job, but the progression is not there. There's no career progression. There's no opportunity for you to climb the ladder. So your career may be, I want to change jobs. And why do you want to change jobs? Well, that might be because I want to better myself within the industry. I like what I'm doing, but I can see that I want more of a career progression, and there's, you know, I'm being capped where I am, so I need to be able to go to that next level. Or you might have just started your career and you want to learn more with your career, so you might be studying. So instead of changing jobs, you might be staying in the same job, but with the career, you just want to study within the career to take yourself to that next level. I've done, I want to say, I would say close to 1,000 courses throughout my life. I mean, every year I'm doing them. I'm doing online, I'm doing in the States, I'm doing in Australia, all over the shop. And I just love learning. I can read a book a day, and, it really just depends on what career is for you. But as I say, if you've got that all there, and then all you're doing from this list, you've got your family, your spiritual, your physical, your financial, and your career. So from this Live, Love, Big Life list that you have, then you transpose it into your calendar. Now, it looks more complicated than it is, but it really isn't. All you've got to do is take that one thing that you're doing. So say, for example, family. I want to go take the kids down to the park twice a week, or once a week even. Once a week, just once a week. So put that on your calendar. I'm not too sure what that looks like for you, but one of these days you'll see. So your January, you can see here January starts out. I think that's January, yeah. And then the khaki is the weekend, so it just makes it nice and easy. So if you're going to walk on a Saturday or a Sunday might be sacrilege. You might just sort of want to rest and relax and kick back, watch a movie, take it easy, bit of a self-care day. You might do that on a Saturday, or you might do it on a Wednesday because, middle of the week, you can go down there, but you don't want to get lifted by the mosquitoes. So you might want to do sort of straight after school or something like that, 3:30 pickup, go from pickup to the park, have a bit of a play. Kids are, tired, a little bit, less bouncy of a night time, and then you feed them and then bath and off to bed they go. But then the next thing, take the spiritual. So what's one thing that you're going to do with spiritual? Is it meditation? Is it as simple as, saying a prayer of a nighttime or a morning? You could join a devotional group. You could go to the church, or some sort of church, or you could go to some sort of universal church, or you could go to some higher consciousness, or whatever it may be for you. I'm not too sure. You may not be spiritual at all in any way, and that is absolutely fine. But whatever spiritual means to you, do that one thing. And just do it well, and then you're stacking the good. Each week you're just adding to those things that you're doing. And as you do them, you get more excited, and you get more energy from doing these things. Physical, for me, I went hard because I knew I had to go hard. I had a lot of weight to lose. I've put it on over probably 20 years and just got really busy with work. And yeah, it's great to be busy at work, but when you look at it, I wasn't as busy as I thought I was when I prioritized my health, when I prioritized the things that were important to me, my family and my friends. And, you make time for the things that are important to you, don't you? And I think that is really, really true, especially in my life, and also the people around you. The people around you that love you and want you to do well and are your stars in your universe and the planets in your universe, they will make time for you, and they will show up each and every day. And they will not even ask any questions. They'll just say, who do we need to go and visit? What do we need to do? Where are we going to be? And they're just you ride and dies, and they will turn up each and every day. And they're the type of people that you want in your life. And you might only have a handful of those people. You might have a bigger group of people, but ones that you can really rely on, that you don't want people that give you lip service, oh yeah, I'll be there for you, and they never are. So make sure you surround yourself with those sort of people. And the physical, as I said, it was something that was really important to me and I needed to do. Financial, not so well. In regards to financial, this year, for example, these last two years, last year, we bought 2 rent rolls last year, and we're buying another one this year. And this is sort of part of the journey for me as well. I have residential property, I've got commercial property and strata property, and I love property, but I also love the flow-on effect, because you can achieve so much with so many. And if you've got the right team around you, I'm very appreciative of my team and everything that they're doing, and we're really growing the unit. I started the business in 2000, and you wouldn't think that, when you're 25 years in, that, there's much more growth in what you're doing. But it's amazing when you sit down with the right people around you, and it's a really positive nurturing environment, you can achieve so much together. So thank you to each and every one of you, and my mum and dad and my family, you know. I really appreciate them, and you know, you may not always see them, but you know that they're there and they're always in your corner, which is really important. So financial for me, it's been something to be able to give back and create some sort of legacy, to be able to support. You know, we're giving time to the community, we're also giving time to different events that are on, and financial support where we're able to. This year we've got a new project that's coming out, will be revealed closer to the middle of the year. I'm very excited about that, and it's something that when I first started with my bean bag and with my milk crates and with my floor that I had to sand myself because I didn't have the money to pay somebody to sand the floors, the friends that visited were the real friends, you know, the friends that would sit on the bean bags and share laughter together. And you'd just be in belly rolls of laughter together. It didn't matter what furniture you had. It didn't matter what chairs you had. It didn't matter what tables you had or didn't have. Just being there for one another and having the right support crew. And it's the same in life now. You know, as you get older, you realise that those relationships, those friendships that are tested or stood the test of time. You know, I've got friends, 35 years friends. I've got friends from school as well. And you may not see them all the time, but you know that they're in your corner, and you do appreciate those stars and planets in your universe, especially my mum and dad. I love them very much, and yeah, think of them all the time. And so financial for you could be buying a house. It could be anything. It might be saving for a holiday. I know that some of the staff, one wants to go to Japan. We've got one in Japan at the moment. She's having a great trip with her family. We've got some staff in the office that are saving a certain amount a week. You know, even if you were to save $5, $10, $20, it doesn't matter. Heading towards that financial goal is really important. I know that if you're not 30 years old yet, this is for you. And if you are 30 years, it doesn't matter. It's still for you. But if somebody who's in their 20s and they save $300 per month up until, I think it's from the age 19 up until the age of 26, 27, and you save nothing more and you put it in the S&P. Mind you, not financial advisor, not telling you what to do if you bought a property or those sorts of things. The value of that money that you saved might not be very great, but the compounding interest on that money, you would have $1 million by the time you're retired when you're 60, 65. So the same thing with property. I mean, the first property I bought was, I think, on the market for $169,950. I managed to secure it for $140,000 because I negotiated really hard. And it was probably the worst house in the best street, but it had good bones and it was an honest house, as Tina would say. Big shout out to Dwight Real Estate. And it's an honest house and you could do something with it. And that's exactly what I did. And I ended up buying that house back in the 90s. That was my first house that I bought. And you too can do the same thing. I bought that, as I say, for $140 and sold it for $459,950. So that's a big profit to make. But not only that, the profit that you make on those houses, you don't have to pay any tax on because it's your principal place of residence. So like my mum and dad, they bought many houses over the years. They bought one house, moved into it, did it up, and then on to the next one. So we've lived in lots of different properties in different places. And it was great because you learn how to do up houses. You learn to get on the end of a paintbrush. You learn to roll the walls. You learn to, you know, tile bathrooms, waterproof bathrooms, and fix gardens up and make something out of nothing. And it was just a wonderful experience as a kid growing up. And, have the menagerie of animals. Sharing a meme with mum, or not a meme, a video of some geese, and these geese had the curly feathers. I've never seen curly feathers on geese before, but there was curly feathers on these geese, and they're so cute. And it reminded us of when we had some geese. I had a border collie when I was a teenager. And that border collie, mum and dad bought for me from Steve Austin. And he's like the bionic man with the dogs. Truly he was. He's very clever with the dogs. Anyway, this border collie used to round up these geese on the front doorstep every time, and they'd poo everywhere and all sorts of things. It was on the acreage that they had at Kenthurst, and it was a beautiful place to grow up. You know, we had a family horse. We had the ducks, the geese, the goats, the chooks. It was beautiful, and big dam, and when you used to have the bonfires in June, long weekend, and fireworks when they were allowed, and sit out under the stars and look up and watch the satellites as they go past. So really nice memories. So financial can be a beautiful goal, a long-term goal of buying a house, or it could be a short-term goal. So work out whether it's a holiday or whether it's a car, or whether if you need a car in the PN group, go and see them. Big shout out to Chris. There could be many different things. Jess is saying, oh, I know Steve. I've met him a couple of times. He helped train our service dog for my eldest. Isn't that great? Yeah, as I say, he's the bionic man in the dog world. He's very, very clever with dogs, and he's like the dog whisperer. So I'm so pleased that he's able to help with your service dog for your eldest. That's a lovely story. Thanks for sharing, Jess. And then the final thing we've got on here was the career, which we covered off on that. So I hope that helps with what you're doing, and then just plug and play. So if you see from my one, I don't know whether you could, let me just see if I can get up a little bit closer. So it's a bit, okay, so, oh, there we go. All right, so in the first week of January, I went to rock the house with Mum and Dad and live, love long weekends, because it was a long weekend. We were on holidays. The gym, lunch with Mum, gym, kayaking, coffee with whoever, Dad, gym, kayaking, Dionne Warwick, dinner with Mum, live, love long weekend, Chinese weekend. And, it just goes on. You've just got to plug and play, and then you can just cut things in and out of where it is, and just pop it in the calendar. And it's really quite simple to follow the plan. So Chase is saying that's how you got stuck up. Yeah. Thank you, Jess. Yeah, look, I've got a wholesome life with all of you, and you are the ones that make it special. You are the ones that help me. And I think, too, I get inspired by you all, and this calendar is part of that, because I get asked a lot of questions all the time as to what to do with that, what to do with this. And then I thought, well, how can I simplify it for people so that they can have their best year ever? And I think sometimes, including me, I used to overthink the whole process and how to do something, because it is really easy to overthink something. Even doing the fitness stuff, I could have said, oh gosh, 2 exercises a day, 2 45-minute exercises a day. There's no way I can do that. And now every day I'm up, whether it's I'm going to the gym or and lifting weights, and they're not light weights, but they're not really heavy weights either. I just know, being a fitness, from a fitness industry, that I love doing all of the sorts of things with weights. That was my favourite. So I thought I've got to pick an exercise that I like doing. The same thing with walking the dogs. I love walking the dogs, so that's easy for me to do. Didn't really like yoga so much, but then once I started doing it, just the release in the muscles, like when you're working all the time and you're over the computer and you're doing things, or you're talking to people on your legs, standing all the time. Like, I used to get really sore legs and a lot of swelling in the legs because of the hours that you'd be standing on your feet. And now, I'm doing things like rebounding, which is great for the lymphatic area. And I'm doing things like the bike, which is great for, the bigger muscle groups in your legs. I'm doing things like the weights and using a lot of compound muscle groups. So you're sort of working a couple of muscle groups at the same time, because it's really important. So you could be doing a deadlift and using, different muscle groups. You could be doing a row. You could be doing, I've got a rower as well. Or you could go to the gym, or you could go for a walk in the park and just use calisthenics. Just use your body weight. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be fancy. I mean, I've used baked bean cans, doing weights in the past as well when I couldn't get to the gym. So it doesn't need to be fancy. You don't need to go out and buy a kettlebell. You don't need to go out and buy a big weight pump set or whatever. You can just do, simple push-ups, or you can just do squats, standing squats, or you can get up out of your chair, stand up and sit back down, stand up and sit back down. Just doing that sort of an exercise really makes a difference to your body and to what you're doing. So, just sort of think of all of those things when you're doing it, but stack the good and make it so easy for yourself that you just can't lose, because if you make it too complicated, you are going to give up. You're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. And I know this because I've done this myself. I've sat there with pieces of paper with the greatest plan, and I love working out this plan, and I'm writing this and I'm writing that, and I've got pieces of paper everywhere. I was like, oh, this is a really good idea. I'm just getting so excited thinking about it. I've even got a big smile on my face because I'm thinking about all the things I'm going to achieve. And then I don't do anything. And then I think about it again. I go, push the paper to the left, push the paper to the right. And then you don't do anything. Whereas what I found is doing the 75 hard, it was one thing that I was going to really focus in on. And if I can say one thing to you, is not only have the one thing in each of those categories, or even if you just did one thing for this month. And then after you've done that, it might be taking the kids to the park, whether it's 4-legged or 2-legged, or it might just be yourself, taking yourself to the park. You are family as well. So do something for yourself first, because if you look after yourself, you can look after many. And that's the thing that I've learned this year, is just going into the year with really good energy levels, with really good vibrational levels. You know, if you're vibrating at the grateful, joyful, playful, as opposed to, you know, anything else, things can come to you, and the water, the rocks are going to be in that river, and you're going to be sort of dodging and weaving as you can sometimes, but the water will flow again straight. So don't worry. Yes, you've just got to find your rhythm, whatever that may be. And as Mum and Dad did, you know, they wrote down the list of the things that they wanted to achieve. They're both Virgos, so big tick to them. And this is why I've learnt what I've learnt probably over the years. And I used to have a boss that certainly, you know, really harnessed his time well and just time blocked with what he was doing. So lots of things you don't understand at the time when you learn it. And that was 30 years ago when I learnt those principles. Lots of different courses that I've done over the years, but it all comes to the fore. It all comes to where you are and what you're doing, and you learn over time as to what's going to serve you well and what's not. And just go back to those warning beacons. Listen to your body. Listen to what's actually happening, and if it doesn't feel right, if you get that feeling in your throat or your heart or your stomach or wherever it may be for you, don't do it. You know, just don't do it. And the warning signs will be there, and you probably think, oh, I don't know what she's talking about, but don't worry. Next time when you've got a quandary as to which way to go, your body will tell you, and you'll remember me sort of having this conversation with you about it. But, for 2025, if anybody needs a copy of either the questions or the brain dump, or you'd like a copy of the calendar, these calendars are worth $100 each. So I'm happy to give you one for nothing, because I want you to have the best year ever. So I'm having the best year that I've had. And I'm really, really excited about it. And I want you to be excited as well. And as much as the water flows from different directions at times, and, you know, life goes like this sometimes, if you can remember all the things that you've achieved, you can look back on those things that you've achieved and keep moving forward, and then stacking the good. If you stack the good, you're going to get more good in your life. And then the more good you have in your life, the more good people that will be surrounded by you, and you will be surrounded by those good people. And that's what you've got to aim for, is be around the right people, the people that love you, support you, and want to see you win. Because tall poppy syndrome is live and well in Australia, but if you can rise above that and just be with your people, those people that want to make you, want to make you win, want to make you feel good about yourself, and want to be part of your life. You know, it's so important to have those people in your life. And I'm really, hashtag blessed, none of that. It's just the way it is. You know, I'm just really lucky to have these people, these stars, as I call them, these planets that are my gravitational pull that keep me doing what I'm doing. And I appreciate each and every one of you, and you know who you are. So the quote of the day: the universe will never give you peace in something you weren't meant to settle in. And that's the same for people that you meet. So I think you can take a lot from that. If you're not feeling peace, if you're not feeling good in your body, if you're not feeling good in yourself, whatever it may be, maybe that's not where you need to be. Maybe you need to change direction, whether it's your career, whether it's your finances, whether it's, spiritual, whether it's your family, whether it's your health. I'm not too sure what it is for you, but maybe find that little spot and then just head towards that, and then just keep stacking the good. I know we've had a bit of it. It was meant to be 10 minutes, but it's a longer session that we needed today. But I really appreciate each and every one of you sort of being on the line. And it's been great, just to chat with you and hear all your thoughts and what you're doing and where everybody's up to in their life. If you're watching this back, feel free to pop in the comments below what things were for you at the different times in the video as it appears, because then that helps the next person. So, the universe will never give you peace in something you weren't meant to settle in, and that's the same for people you meet. All right, well, have a good week, everybody. Good year ahead. If you need a calendar, if you need a brain dump, if you need a cheat sheet on the questions to be able to fill those in, let me know. Pop in the comments or send me a direct message. I'd love to be able to help you have the best year ever. And like me, I am doing the best I possibly can and stacking the good each week that I can and achieving what I can. And everybody, Brucey is on the mend. His liver level was through the charts, or through the roof, but he's been to the vet. We've had some results back, so I'm really excited that, come here, Brucey, come here. He wanted to say hello, I think. Yeah, he's going to come up and say hello. This is my little Brucey. So, he had some results with the vet that wasn't we weren't too sure what was going to happen, but he's on the mend and looking pretty good, and he's pretty happy having a bit of a cuddle with me as we speak. So, well, anyway, I hope everybody has a great week ahead. I'm very happy that Bruce has had the good news. It makes me very happy and excited. Because, the dogs, they're only here for a short time, aren't they? It's really sad that they only get sort of, that 10, 15 years with us. But and we're the only ones that they have. So whilst we get to meet many people in our lives, we're the only one that generally is the one that provides the love, the care, the walks, whatever it may be. So I have made a real commitment to them, as I do with all of our pets here. Bruce and Topsy, he's almost doing yoga, but he's not. He's just tucking in and going for a little bit of he's going to have a snooze here on my lap in a second, which I think he is. But, it's really pleasing that he's come out the other side. I think, he's got some medication and he'll be right in another couple of months from what the vet said. So good news there. Thanks, Les. Yep, that's all good. And I hope everybody has a great week ahead, good year ahead. Brucey says bye to everybody. I say bye to you, and until next week. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I look forward to hearing all the great things of you stacking the good in your week. Bye now.